Across the centuries, there have been attempts at creating a typology of stories. That is, a list of the types of stories there are in the world, in all sorts of media. You can read more again in the resources. Putting tragedy and comedy aside, which often depends on whether there is a sad or happy ending, and many of the best stories contain both of these elements, and being as focused as I can about this, here are 4 types of story which I think you'll be able to recognise and identify with. Keep your own story in mind, of course, as you listen here. You may have a pure type of story or some sort of hybrid. At the end of this section, there's a quiz to work out where the types of story, the business stories we kicked off this course with, belong. The quest. We are both on a quest here, if you think about it. You for learning how to create your most shareable business story, and me to try and help you do this in the most effective way possible. Someone is seeking something on a quest, and you can bet your bottom dollar that obstacles, distractions, and overwhelming odds are going to be placed in their way. The first Star Wars film is a notable quest. Stuart Butterfield's story is one of incredible resourcefulness in the face of quests that are not succeeding. For instance, his first company was called Game Never Ending. It became Flickr. After he sold Flickr and returned to this project, now called Glitch, this failed again. So he turned it into Slack, software for group communication, and at the time of this course, receiving a great deal of investment money. The Rebirth. Like a lot of stories, Stuart Butterfield segues from the quest into the rebirth, where someone is born again, renewed, transformed, or pivoting, as they call it on the startup scene. If your story involves revelation, or going on retreat and then returning profoundly changed, it may be above all a rebirth story. Or you may have accidentally discovered something and been reborn as a result. Like David McConnell, a travelling book salesman who realised his female customers preferred the free perfume samples he gave with his books over the books themselves, and transformed his business into Avon Cosmetics. Overcoming the monster. This is a story where there is an enemy. Internal, like a shyness demon, external, like the Daleks, or a combination of both. Alien, for instance, is the most vivid example of this genre. Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion have to overcome the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. Many people who have been significantly successful in the world have had to overcome monsters. For instance, Walt Disney, described as lacking imagination and having no good ideas. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her news reporter gig at a Baltimore news station. She went on to build a successful following with her daytime talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and her net worth is currently valued at $2.7 billion. In tackling her own monsters and helping others tackle theirs, Oprah has soared. Rags to riches. And Oprah's story is also one of rags to riches, of course. Ursula Burns, chair of Rank Xerox, Jan Koum, founder of WhatsApp, Shania Twain, Ralph Lauren, these are all people born in poverty who have acquired great wealth and worldly success. I'd like you now to think about your story and which of these types it best fits. The type of story you choose is almost a roadmap for your listeners, your customers. They know what to expect from certain types of genre. If you try and be every genre, it won't work. So I would opt for 1 or 2 of these that appeal most and seem the best fit. So for instance, my own story is definitely the quest, because I am extremely curious and interested in learning But there were bits of my childhood which made me overcome the monster as well, I think. So choose the one which most vividly depicts what you're up to and what you're about.